Yep, hi all, just a quick video on how to adjust the dwell on the DeLorean DMC12. I'm not actually going to adjust it myself right now because my car is now set up spot on, but I'll just show everyone how I did it. So got the dwell meter here, and this is about 40 quid off eBay UK. You have it set to the 4-cylinder option on this one, on this multimeter one. I connect my earth point here. This is one I use, under the engine lift mounts. And then you should have a diagnostic socket, or maybe 2 wires around this sort of area. So yeah, you want to attach it to the orange wire here, and this actually goes across into one of the wires just in there. So that's good. So that's all sorted. And like I mentioned, set it to 4-cylinder. Now, where you're adjusting it is just down here. So this is your fuel and air mixture screw. So let me torch in there so you can see better. Okay, so that's it there. That's the key. This is the key thing. So this is what you get from DeLorean Go. This is a bung. So this is my old one. I've got a new one for the post today. That should be the part number for it there. This one is in and out so many times. I thought, you know what, I'm going to put a new one in because this is a bit knackered now. So the actual tool I use to adjust this, all it is the 3mm Allen key wrench here. And as you can see, it's inside this little tube, which is an idea I came up with yesterday. Because what I was finding is when you remove the bung, the engine will basically suck in loads of air and then it'll stall. So what I was having to do with my engines, having to turn off the ignition and then pull the bung out, obviously carefully, so it's in really tight, adjust it with the Allen key, to richen it or lean it out, put the bung back in properly, and then start the engine up, then let the thing warm up a bit further again until until it starts to swing on the meter. And there's a load of hassle, basically. You just can't really fine tune it. So what I thought, when I was at work, I thought I can use this bit of rubber. And actually, because this is the rubber which is off the old CO2 sensor. So as you see, I just snipped off the wire, pulled off the rubber cover, and this is absolutely perfect fit in the hole down there. So what you can do is with adjusting the dwell, you need to have the engine hot, so that the CO2 sensor in the exhaust is, I think it's something like 300 degrees, so that then it kicks in and it then starts to fluctuate the dwell on the meter. If it's not hot enough, you'll plug the dwell in, and you'll find that it'll just go straight to approximately 45 and then approximately 52 when you push the full throttle micro switch, which is, if it's working of course, is that white switch just down there. So you push that in and it clicks, like that. So it'll go from 45 to 52, but it won't swing. And to adjust the dwell properly, it has to be when the engine's nice and hot and the dwell is swinging on here. So let's say you go for a nice long drive, get the thing nice and warmed up, just pull in, connect this up like this method here straight away, flick it onto 4-cylinder, just whilst the engine's running. You should then see this then flick. So for example, it might be going from say 20 up to 30, down to 20 up to 30, or maybe 50 up to 60, 50 to 60, for example. What you want it to be doing on this 4-cylinder setting here is 35 to 45, and no more than 45, I've been told. So yes, so if you find, so I'll keep this piece of paper on me as well, if you find that you're running at 55 to 65, then it's too lean, so you need to then turn that screw there clockwise to richen it. If it's 25 to say 30 approximately, then it's too rich, so you need to turn anti-clockwise to lean it out. So yeah, so like I said yesterday, I got nice and warm, turned off the ignition, gently pulled the bung out, the old bung, pushed this in nice and tight, really easy. Obviously put the Allen key in, pushes in nice and tight, got a nice seal, restarted it, did this all fairly quickly, revved it a few times, started seeing the swinging. It was 25 to 30 approximately yesterday, which was way too rich and it smelt rich. So I was able to then turn it anti-clockwise, millimetre by millimetre, using the Allen key, and actually I actually used a set of pliers on top just to turn it really carefully, and managed to get it running between say approximately 35 to 45, that sort of area it was. Yeah, and then all pretty sweet. So once I'm happy with that, revved it a few more times, make sure it's still settled. If it doesn't, you can adjust it a little bit more, either way. Get it absolutely spot on, and when you're happy with it, I then just let it run for a little bit longer. Then I just turn off the ignition, pull out the amazing device here, which is totally awesome and really handy. And then I was able to then sort of put the old bung back in and make sure it's obviously in really well. Meant to actually go sort of flush up to basically, well on my DeLorean, flush to the top of this bung, so it's in proper nice. My one actually, the rod where I've been in and out so many times, it punctured a hole through, so I've been putting a bit of glue on the end, as you can see, and that sort of in there was potentially causing air leaks. That's why I've got a new one in there now. Let's cast that right. Got good quality bung in the hole now, as it were, and yeah, so this should be totally sweet. Obviously all this dwell and idle and all that sort of stuff obviously is affected by things like the idle control valve. So you need to make sure this is facing the right direction, so there's an arrow on the side. It needs to be facing the rear windscreen, not facing the bumper like mine was. You can also take this off as well. Actually the best test actually is to take the plug off, turn the ignition on, put the plug on and off, and you should hear this sort of click. You can also take this off. You can put power on this particular one to 12 volts on the middle, then you can earth the left and then the right pin separately, and you'll see the motor, sort of all the piston inside, sort of swinging left or swinging right. So that's another good test to make sure that it's operating smoothly. So that's what I say, it gets your idle, sort of controls your idle running from off throttle, basically. Yeah, so that needs to be done, and obviously it needs to be has Jubilee clips on the curved pipe, and there's no Jubilee clips on the pipe here going through to the cold start valve here. But again, all these things have to work. You have to make sure that you've got like no air leaks. That's why these silicone hoses from DeLorean go absolutely sweet. No air leaks there. I've got a new seal in there. Don't think this matters, but I've got a new seal in there anyway from DeLorean Go. But these are really critical that nothing leaks. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting time doing things like mixture if you've got a leaky pipe. There's a solenoid down the back there. So when you say, for example, set up your throttle on here, with the ignition on, as soon as you open the throttle ever so slightly, it kind of comes off the rest. You should then come off the micro switch pretty much about a millimetre later, and when that happens, that with ignition on, that actuates the solenoid, which is just there. So you can put your hand on the solenoid. You can then open up the throttle by putting your hand just down here. You can do this. And you can sort of see it moving there, and as soon as you move a little bit, it clicks off the micro switch, and then that powers the solenoid or earths the solenoid. But it does one or the other. It makes the solenoid open or closed in order to let the vacuum through to the distributor. But yeah, that's another story. But yeah, mine's seems to be running sweet now, thanks to no air leaks, good bung, epic tool there. Definitely recommend that little tool I made up. I call that the Gricey tool. And there you go. I hope this is of some use, and yeah, make sure you get your swing on 35 to 45 once it's nice and hot. And if you find that the end's really hot, not swinging, then you've either got a clogged up CO2 sensor on the exhaust, which is just sort of down there, really easy to take off, but you kind of need to ideally take the wheel off to better get in there. Or it could be that the wire from the sensor there, which goes underneath the arch into one of the ECUs under the seat, is maybe loose or damaged or whatever. But if the end has been running rich, say for a long time, or it's a really old sensor, even if you clean it up and stuff, it might just not work. But new ones from these from DeLorean Go are sort of range from about 20 quid up to sort of, I think, 50-60 quid for depending on what type you want. But I went for the cheap one, and it seems spot on, and anything from DeLorean Go is quality. But yeah, so there's definitely a few things to work out, but no point adjusting this unless you've got no air leaks, and you know that it's swinging to a certain degree. Then you can go for it, but you definitely need to use something like this sort of tool, so you haven't got to keep turning the engine on and off. You can just put it in and adjust it with the engine running nice and hot, and you can fine tune it and get it sweet. Okay, and there we go. Thank you very much. Cheers.